Good evening, I'm Jennifer Meckles.
And I'm Kyle Clark. President Biden says that he is staying in the race despite growing calls by Democrats for him to step aside. Tonight, the president offered detailed foreign policy expertise in a press conference to wrap up the NATO summit, but also mixed up the names of his vice president and the president of Ukraine in two separate misfires.
I'm not in this for my legacy. I'm in this to complete the job I started.
Biden's disastrous debate performance 2 weeks ago has kicked off a cascade of concerns from Democrats that the 81-year-old president is not up to another term. NBC News reports today that even Biden campaign insiders don't think that he has a path to beat Donald Trump. More than a dozen Democrats in Congress, including more tonight, have called on him to drop out of the race. Colorado Senator Michael Bennet said this week he does not think that Biden can win in November, and Biden said he thinks that Democrats could potentially lose the Senate if Biden tops the ticket. The president faced questions about his slipping support from some in his party tonight.
The best way to assure them is the way I assure myself, and that is, am I getting the job done? Am I getting the job done? Can you name me somebody who's got more major piece of legislation passed in 3.5 years? I created 2,000 jobs just last week. So if I slow down, I can't get the job done. That's a sign that I shouldn't be doing it. But there's no indication of that yet. None.
The president's first answer during the news conference tonight included him referring to his Vice President Kamala Harris as Vice President Trump, a mistake that went uncorrected, unlike another miscue that he had hours earlier at the NATO summit when he introduced Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky as President Putin. On Monday, NBC's Lester Holt will sit down with President Joe Biden for a one-on-one conversation. Full unedited interview will air in a primetime special at 7 p.m. on 9 News.
Our streak of 90-degree days continued today. We nearly touched triple digits in Denver. Great news if you have a water-based business. Waterworld was popping today. And Kathy, today's really just the beginning of a real heat wave, so buckle in.
It is. And Jenny, one for the record books if we see all 3 days at 100 plus, and we could break a record each and every afternoon. Heat advisories will be posted starting tomorrow right through the weekend. Today was warm enough, right? 98, that's almost 10 degrees above average. Thankfully, not quite in that record territory at 102. But the thunderstorms that we've been tracking all afternoon have wind and lightning. So the thunderstorms with the heat creating high fire danger, something we certainly don't need to see. And here we are, 9:03. It's still 83 degrees in Denver. It is still 93 degrees in Grand Junction. And you know what? That dome of heat is expanding over Colorado. That high will center right over the top of us. The apex of the heat wave will be Sunday with some of the warmest readings. The heat advisory will cover Denver, areas down to Pueblo and southeastern Colorado for temperatures 99 to 104 degrees Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. A couple of thunderstorms to show you on the radar. None severe so far, but maybe some beneficial rain along with lightning moving through Sterling and Akron. We'll have another check of the radar and have the impact of the impending heat wave with our extended forecast coming up.
Kathy, thank you. Cooling centers will start opening up tomorrow. Aurora is offering up libraries for anybody trying to get out of the heat. Same with Denver, and rec centers across the city as well. These cooling centers should stay active and ready to take people in through Sunday. Nobody wants to be uncomfortable in the heat, that's obvious, but when it's this hot, it's really also a health risk.
9 News reporter Rachel Krause is in Denver for us tonight. Rachel, doctors say the obvious is true, the heat is hard on our bodies.
Yeah, especially for anybody with a heart condition. Doctors say that your body is exposed to the stress of extreme heat for long periods. That can tip people into heart attack, even heart failure. So with temperatures about to climb, they're urging people to do what they can to stay cool.
Go this way, though.
At Rush Park in Denver,
Well, I just think the view is better.
David Gillespie and Tucker Wilkie are taking on a new trade.
Yeah, my wife's a wedding photographer, and I'm learning videography, and it's a heck of a week to do it. It's really hot out here. I'll look it up if there's a later.
Learning
Pull your phone up. Oh, you got it. Never mind.
a little less fun in the heat.
Stopped and got some Gatorades, you know, trying to be safe in the heat.
Gotta keep them electrolytes out, baby.
Down the road, Thomas Wynn and River DeStefano are hoping this heat brings in customers.
And yeah, just selling mint tea pink lemonade.
Besides sampling the product, they found a fun way to stay cool.
We got sprinklers to run through, which we haven't done yet, but I might do it because it's very hot out here.
With temperatures expected to hit triple digits, Dr. Manisha Kochar with National Jewish Health says this heat can put a big strain on your heart.
People with underlying heart disease, people with diabetes, people with hypertension, these all pose much greater risk in heat waves.
Dr. Kochar says this kind of heat wave isn't just uncomfortable, it can be deadly.
When their body's exposed to the stress of that extreme heat for long periods of time, that can tip people over to where they start experiencing symptoms of heart failure.
That's concerning, she says, because cardiovascular diseases are already the #1 killer worldwide.
Studies are showing that temperatures are rising, and so I think this is something that we'll have to deal with more and more in the future.
For Tucker and David,
All right, there we go, baby.
this heat is already feeling excessive.
Usually I'm ready for the weekend, but yeah, it's not gonna be a good one while I'm working out in a hot van, 102. Whew.
Heat that might mean taking a break for Thomason River.
Maybe. We'll have to bring fans for ourselves because it'll be very hot.
So with this hot stretch of weather ahead, Dr. Kochar says even if you don't have heart disease, make sure you try and limit your time outside. If you want to go out, try and do that in the morning or in the evening before that sun hits full blast. And if you can't avoid being out in the heat, well, try and stay hydrated, wear light-colored clothing, and try and find shade wherever you can. Reporting live in Denver, Rachel Krause, 9 News.
Burn restrictions are now in place in Douglas County until further notice. Stage 1 restrictions, no open burning of any kind except for in established fire pits like at campgrounds. People could face up to a $1,000 fine for a violation. Fire restrictions are still in effect for much of the Front Range. A fire at a Painted View Ranch in Custer County is contained tonight. It started today at a barn on that ranch off County Road 160. Firefighters were able to get a hold on this thing quickly before people or animals were hurt. They were on scene for a few hours, moving hay and spraying water on embers.
A wildfire that started after a van caught fire on Highway 285 between Indian Hills and Conifer. That's out tonight. Elk Creek Fire got called out just after 2:30 this afternoon. They found a van pulling a trailer on fire, and the flames spread to grass and trees on the side of the highway. Ended up burning about half an acre. Crews first put their efforts into protecting nearby homes and the animals nearby, and then they focused on getting the flames out. The Boulder County Sheriff's Office says they have a picture of a guy that set fire to a building, but they need your help figuring out who is this guy. The Sheriff's Office says it happened around 11:30 p.m. on 4th of July. They say this man was armed with a revolver and a knife when he broke into the building off Highway 7, around 3 miles south of Allens Park. Deputies say he set the building on fire, then tried to light another building on fire. Flames spread to the ground, caught some nearby trees on fire, and crews were able to get it out. If you know this man, please call the Boulder County Sheriff's Office.
An insurrectionist from Colorado is now out of prison after serving more than 3 years. Robert Gieswein drove from Woodland Park to Washington to join the attack on the Capitol. He wore camo and tactical gear and carried a bat. Video showed him spraying police with some kind of substance. Gieswein was sentenced to 4 years in prison. Records show he was released late last month. He'll be under supervised release for the next 3 years. We now have some more answers about a DNA analyst at CBI who admitted to deleting data in hundreds of criminal cases.
Missy Woods told investigators why she did it in an interview last year, and now 9 News Investigates got a look at that interview. 9 News reporter Kelly Rinke joins us now with a copy. Kelly?
Hey there, guys. Missy Woods was considered the gold standard in DNA testing. She resigned last year after an intern found problems with her work. This interview is really the first time we are hearing from her talk about what led to this criminal investigation that is now against her.
With me here is Special Agent Charge Corey Latham.
2 investigators sat across the table from Missy Woods.
The last 6 weeks of my life has been the longest 6 weeks of my life because I don't sleep and I'm consumed with this.
She was CBI's star DNA analyst until last year.
That we're really trying to determine how bad this problem is for us.
A problem that led to an internal investigation. You're listening to their interview with Woods after a review found she deleted and manipulated data in criminal cases.
Do you ever remember doing that?
I don't have an independent recollection of that, no.
I don't remember was her answer to a lot of questions for more than an hour.
But you can make it right now and explain some of this stuff. But at this point, if this stays the way it is, your legacy is more than likely to have tarnished us and you.
Since this interview, CBI has learned Woods tampered with DNA evidence, impacting more than 650 cases.
Why would you do that?
I think I'm burned out.
Burnt out,
Okay.
she said, as she started telling investigators why she deleted data. Woods said she did it to avoid taking additional steps.
How did you feel about what you were doing, did you feel bad about it? Did you feel, or did you wrap your mind?
I didn't even think about it. I didn't even think about it until 5 weeks ago.
This interview happened in late 2023, weeks after an intern found problems with her work. Woods left CBI after 29 years, a career she appears to want to protect.
What went through your head to take some responsibility?
The thought of going down as a completely rogue analyst, as opposed to not and owning my actions.
Yeah.
We don't know at this point if Woods will face criminal charges. Excuse me, that investigation is still ongoing. Her attorney has told us she stands by her work, which he said resulted in true and just criminal justice findings. Kelly Rinke, 9 News.